Welcome along to round 12 of the 2020 season. We're at another Canadian racetrack for this weekend, and it is the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. And this track has been on the schedule for many, many years. And these drivers know how to get around here. And just like Trois Rivières, this course can be tricky to get around. It is very narrow. You're flying around this racetrack. You'll see cars going down the hill or up the hill, going speeds upwards of 100 miles an hour, just on the edge, and you have to be able to keep your car on the racetrack. You cannot get your tires off on the grass. Luckily, we do not have barriers surrounding the walls here. However, there are tire barriers, but there is a little bit of runoff, and there is a little give and take. However, with the speeds these cars are taking around this racetrack, you're gonna want to be careful. The biggest corner of them all is the Moss corner, down in turn 5 and turn 6. It has been a tricky part for these drivers. Often, many drivers can get that corner wrong and mess it up, heading off into turn 7, down the Mario Andretti straightaway. And if you mess up turn 6, you mess up that entire long straightaway, and that allows a lot of passing opportunities as drivers close in on the S's and coming to the start-finish straight. As this racetrack, you cannot put a foot wrong or you can be sitting into the tire barriers. This track is tough to drive on, as many drivers have found out in qualifying. Luke Martin messed up in qualifying. He'll start way down the running order. Our championship leader is going to have to come from way back. And second to the championship, Eric Demax is on pole this evening. Can he take the championship lead back? We are about to get ready. It's a cloudy day here in Canadian Tire, but some news. Into this week, silly season is already a-brewing. Many teams and drivers, fans, all can feel the drift of silly season on the horizon. Silly season is when drivers are in the middle of talks for the coming year. 2021 contracts are on the lawn, and these drivers wanting to try and put a good standing on themselves. Eric Demax, Jake Bassinger on the front row. One of the big drivers on the market that announced he will not be back, Ryan Griffin, announced he will not be back with Allen Family Racing Team. Where will he be going? We are unsure. But the race is on this afternoon. 51 laps of racing today. Eric Demax and Jake Bassinger's on the front row. Turn performance looked very good. Can Eric Demax keep these Turner drivers at bay? We are green. On the jump, Eric Demax and Jake Bassinger, they are still side by side. Jake Bassinger trying to claw his way to the lead. He's got the preferred line, but Demax trying to keep alongside with him. Still side by side, double file like they started the race. Jake Bassinger gets a nose out ahead. Turner and Shelley side by side for third place. Jake Bassinger clears Eric Demax for the race lead. James Shelley round the outside of his teammate. Shelley comes in this race third in points. He has done phenomenal this season. Jeffrey Lynn's fourth in points. He is up here inside the top 5, closing his way up to fourth place round James Shelley. Chris Dodd for Allen Family Racing Team. This is a big race for him this afternoon, getting around John Arndt. But up ahead, Jesse Turner battling Eric Demax for second position, hoping that there isn't an engine failure for the 17 for this race. 2 weeks in a row that the 17 has blown an engine. He is hoping not to make it a third this afternoon. As we come to complete lap 1, Jake Bassinger has taken the race lead. Jeffrey Lynn round the outside, has been able to clear James Shelley, but as I say that, oh, contact with Art and Dodd. That was near disaster. Here's what happened with Art and Dodd. Art got into Dodd. Dodd comes back over into Art and shoves him onto the grass. Luckily, they kept it going. Problems for Alex Bianco. He is in on lap 1 of the race. Something is amiss with the 31 car. He brought it down pit road and is changing all 4 tires. And they are going under the hood possibly. Yes, under the hood on the 31 car. Something is amiss for Alex Bianco. He has had no luck in the Sony Cup Series. And after lap 1, he is on pit road with the hood up. Ryan Griffin trying to claw his way into the top 10. He's alongside of Jordan Fisher. And looks as though he's going to get this spot done. The S's is a very tricky part of the course. And Ryan Griffin's up to 10th place. Cody Lamas trying to work his way around Zachary Fitzwater. James Sorafox had a great qualifying effort. He's outside the top 10. He's inside the top 15, though. Monster Energy Racing was very hopeful of a good run today with James Sorafox. Alex Vignalco's back in the race as he joins in right behind Dylan Schwellenberg. Some drivers that had poor qualifying efforts, some drivers kicking up dirt, many drivers trying to get as much traction and get the power down early as possible. They are clipping that grass, no problems though early on. Ryan Acosta is high in the championship mix. He comes in this race right there, just a little outside of it. I think he's 6th or 7th in points, but Acosta 39th right now. Not a good opening start. He qualified very poorly. And further up, Luke Martin is flying in the Zero CM Racing Chevy. He is closing his way up to the top 25. We have a race brewing for 9th place. Here comes Dylan Schwellenberg, actually for 8th place. Schwellenberg looking for a move here on John Hart side by side. The S's, like we've mentioned, surprised nobody has had a collision in the opening going. Lap 1 through 5 always is the tricky part here at Canadian Tire. Most drivers get caught out, but no problems early on. Dylan Schwellenberg makes this move on John Hart for 8th place. Kyle Collins, last week's winner, got off on the grass there. Race for 16th place, really heating up here. Jeff James, Dom Capps, Zayden Davidson, Zach Rogers, all on top of the 86. Davidson and Capps beat off each other. James looking for a move here on the 86. Whoa, Zayden Davidson nearly made contact with Dom Capps. Here it comes Rogers. Capps! Dom Capps is spinning. Dom Capps is around. Oh, and into the tire barrier. And that's exactly what I was afraid of that would happen. And Rogers and Davidson are coming down pit road. But that is exactly what I was talking about with how the S's are so difficult there. They were on top of each other and contact was made. Here's another replay of how it happened. Davidson got a little out of shape, got into Capps a little bit. That was all right until he got into Capps again. And Capps and them spun. Well, Capps did at least. And then Rogers and Davidson chose to come down pit road. Race for 20th place, Charles Sanford trying to get around DJ Curtis. Luke Martin has joined that picture there. Luke Martin, who qualified very poorly. A lot of people were wondering how Martin, the championship leader, would be able to claw his way through the pack. As much dust has been put up, a lot of dirt has been kicked up from the grass there, but no issues at that part of the course. But Martin round the outside on Charles Sanford, gets that position done, and up to 21st, and now has DJ Curtis to deal with to get inside the top 20. Looking a little further back, Caleb Hoffman, he is all the way down in 26th position, not the run he would have liked, but they are scrapping further back. Back in 27th place, Jack Hallett trying to hold off Alexander Rowe. Carson Scott is there with the 12 offense freeze with Richard Johnson. There's Ryan Acosta. He's also trying to move his way up the running order, but it's been very tough. Jack Hallett and Alexander Rowe, they are holding up this Congo line, this big train of cars, looking for a way around some of these drivers. Johnson looking for a way around Freeze at the moment. Then there's Krasta and Bouchard. And then Ziemba, who qualified poorly after running off the race course. Same with Bobby Jones. They are all the way down in the 35th and 36th position. After 10 laps, Turner Performance Racing is much liking this race. So after 10 laps, Turner Performance is really enjoying this race at the moment. Jake Bassinger, Jesse Turner, 1 second between each other, but that is the race for the lead at the moment. Then only back in third, Eric Demax is right there in third position, separating a top 3 for the Turner Performance drivers. James Shelley back there in fourth, and another phenomenal race for Jeffrey Lynn and Horizon Group. 5th overall right now with Matthew Rodriguez, Chris Dodd, Dylan Schwellenberg. That's all the way back to 8th place. Then John Art and Ryan Griffin. That is the top 10. However, here comes Dylan Schwellenberg on Chris Dodd, possibly on Matthew Rodriguez as well. Schwellenberg got a great exit. Yeah, Motorsports was very good here last year, and that 88 car can just fly down the straightaway. And Dylan Schwellenberg takes Chris Dodd and gets up to 7th place. Chris Dodd really messed up turn 6 there, and here comes John Art, gonna be able to make that move work. Chris Dodd dropping down the running order in the last couple laps as John Art moves his way up to 8th place and could be under fire now by his teammate Ryan Griffin. Here's the race for 20th. Luke Martin's gonna get that one away from Hayden Klein. Charles Sanford was able to get ahead of the 0 and the 8. Now they're both past the 0-8 of Hayden Klein and Luke Martin. From a ways down the running order, up in 13 laps, is inside the top 20. Further up, Chris Dodd continues to drop down the running order as Ryan Griffin has moved his way up to 9th place. Chris Dodd down to 10th. Justin Turner continuing to hound his teammate for the lead. They have pulled upwards to a 5.5-second advantage on Eric Demax back in 3rd, who has his hands full with James Shelley. So the Turn Performance team, other than Zach Rogers, is having a brilliant afternoon right now. Shelley got a little loose down in down in that corner for turn 6, and Shelley loses out to a little bit on Eric Demax, but Turner and Bassinger is between them right now. Looking further back at Luke Martin again, Martin has actually lost a handful of positions. He is down to 23rd place, possibly not very good on the long run, possibly for Luke Martin. He has dropped a handful of positions. He's down to 23rd. And also the guy behind him, Dejon Weeks. This has been a miserable race weekend for Dejon Weeks. And coming to this race weekend, like we mentioned back last weekend, Dejon Weeks plans to step away from full-time competition at the Yamp Motorsports team and plans to try and go race at other race teams. However, we do not know which race team as of right now, but Dejon Weeks in that 38 team, a loss of chemistry at the Yamp Motorsports camp has really hindered their progress here. And Dejon Weeks in 24th place. This is not where you would usually expect Weeks to be running. Richard Johnson, the 2-time champion of the series, won his titles back in Season 1 and Season 5. It has been a miserable afternoon for him, right behind his rookie teammate, James Ellison, who made his debut earlier this season. Ellison also kind of trying to get the handle of his race car, but Richard Johnson's all the way down in 37th place on raw pace. And Johnson and his Red Bull, he has been off by a mile so far this race weekend. And further up the road, Ryan Acosta. He has struggled to make his way up the running order. This is seriously going to hurt him a lot in the championship mix if he cannot get back a lot of lost points in qualifying. And he has not been able to claw his way up the running order as good as Luke Martin has. But Acosta working on Carson Scott for 31st. And how about Edward Ziamba in the 54 for Rodriguez Racing? The 54 car driver of Rodriguez Racing's own Edward Ziamba. He's had a brilliant Hardee's National Series campaign for his rookie season there. And Ziamba in the 54 car, 30th right now on his debut. Very good run for him so far. Halleck and Strigley doing battle for 25th place, or actually for 26th, but Halleck looking to get this spot away. And Halleck, what a bonsai move. He's going to get that one away, but Strigley not wanting to give that spot back. Doing great battle for 26th place, and Halleck gets it away from Strigley. A pretty good run right now for Sean Harpel. He had a great drive off that corner to try and get alongside of Charles Sanford. Sanford had passed Harpel, and Harpel got a great run off to try and make this pass back on Charles Sanford. But Sean Harpel really needs a good run for this race weekend. He's on the free agent list, and from what I'm understanding, Harpel is really not at the top of the radar for many other drivers for signing him on, and there is no telling what will happen with him at Hero Motorsports for the 2021 season. He's Hardee's National Series champion, 2-time winner in the SCS and the HNS, and Harpel running up on Charles Sanford. Sanford looking for a way around James Silverfox. A very good battle right now for 17th place. They are on top of each other, and Silverfox really holding these guys up. Here comes Curtis with a move on Harpel. Silverfox is a little off the pace, it seems, and Sanford looking for a way past. Wow, Silverfox is looking very slow. He's trying to defend with all he can, but Silverfox looks like he may have an issue. because on the straightaway, he has no power, and here comes Curtis, going to get a great amount of positions here because of this, and here comes the 0-8 to Hayden Klein. Klein blasts his way past. The 77 could be down on power, and that's a shame for James Silverfox, because Silverfox has been doing so well this weekend. A Red Bull blows the engine, and Charles Sanford, Luke Martin runs to the back of him. Luke Martin, the championship leader. Weeks and Burton takes to the dirt and the gravel, and Luke Martin's day is done. Luke Martin, the championship leader, is going to lose the championship lead. Eric Demax had problems last week. It's Luke Martin this week, and Martin is going to fall out of the race. Wow, the championship leader had been trying to work his way up, but Sanford was there, and tough break for Luke Martin, and that's exactly what Demax and Shelley are going to be so happy to hear about, and same with Jeffrey Lynn. He's going to possibly be within a race of the title lead now. And on pit road, down on power, I believe, James Silverfox is on pit road. They're going to change tires and try and figure out what's wrong with the 77 car. Lap car in the way of the leader of Jake Bassinger, and Jesse Toner's going to try and make this pass, and James Silverfox is going to hand the lead over to Jesse Toner because he holds up Jake Bassinger, and Bassinger has led this race all the laps so far, and Jesse Toner uses the lap car to his advantage, and Jesse Toner takes the race lead. And the race for third as Eric Demax went off the course just a little bit, and that little bit of loss of momentum is going to allow the 71 of James Shelley to get alongside, and Shelley trying to make this pass work. And James Shelley in the 71 Ford looks as though he's going to take this position away, and Shelley will make this pass work past Eric Demax and Toner Performance. 1, 2, 3. Further back, Chris Dodd has benefited as the race has went on. He is actually getting a handle of his 44 Hot Wheels Dodge and making progress. Dodd is up to 8th place, and Rodriguez is after Schrellenberg. Rodriguez looking for 6th place on Dylan Schrellenberg, trying to get this place back. Points are on the line for today's race, as they always are, but with Luke Martin out of the race, the championship leader, that's the extra points to try and grab back. But with Shelley and Demax, second and third in the points, being a little up the road, it's not going to be a big haul of points as everyone would like. But Rodriguez is up to 6th place. Further back, DJ Curtis just passed both Dylan Young and Jeff James in the S's. That was an incredible pass, but by DJ Curtis, he moves his way up to 17th, up to 15th place. And right now, the drivers outside of the top 10 consist of Cody Lamas just outside of it, with Zachary Fitzwater, Jordan Fisher, Kyle Collins in 14th, DJ Curtis 15th, then it's Dylan Young, Jeff James, and then you have Hayden Klein, Caleb Hoffman, and Sean Harple. Right now, inside the top 20, we're going to run down the field real quick for you, with Eric Burton in 21st, Dejon Weeks 22nd, then it's Jack Halleck, Alexander Rowe, Edward Ziemba in 25th. Then it's Vince Maurice, Joseph Shrigley, Bobby Jones, Ryan Acosta, and Carson Scott. Then Brandon Crasta, James Ellison, Daniel Bouchard, Zayden Davidson, Zach Rogers, Richard Johnson, Bradley Bishop Jr., and that is all the cars on the lead lap, and all the way down to 37th place as the leader, Jesse Toner, runs up on lap traffic. Oh, but lap traffic is kind of messing up the aerodynamics on the front of that 17 car, and he bobbled and got in the grass. Here comes Jake Bassinger. Bassinger's back alongside of him. Run down the Mario Andretti straight as Bassinger tries to take the lead back. Side by side, down into the S's. And Bassinger could have the advantage. He gets the nose out ahead, and Bassinger was the superior car, nearly runs off the road. He's coming to pit road. Pit stops are underway. We are past halfway. We expect these guys to do only a one stop, and Jake Bassinger's on pit road. The very next lap later, Jesse Toner is now down pit road. The next car that has to pit will be Jeffrey Lynn, and Lynn's also coming to pit road. So basically, everybody is pitting right between the same lap 1 or 2. Nobody is really making a big strategy call at the moment. Everyone is coming down and stretching their fuel mileage to about the same time. There's Jesse Turner. There's Jake Bassinger. Bassinger had a phenomenal stop. Short pitting was the name of the game for Jake Bassinger and team. And Bassinger gets ahead, but he's got the Red Bulls to deal with, the Vellison and Johnson. And he needs to try and clear them. If he can get ahead of them, he'll have a free track ahead of him. A lot of clean air, so he needs to try and get past these guys. But Jesse Turner lost a handful of time to Jake Bassinger. However, a crash has happened racing for 20th. Dylan Young, James Orfox, and Zane Davidson have spun off the course, and a hard hit in the wall for Young and Davidson. That was straight into the concrete wall, and Dylan Young and Davidson are out. Get another view of it. Young went to make a move, and Sorfox clipped him in the left rear, and Young slammed right in that wall. That was a nasty driver's impact into the concrete barrier, and out of the race for Dylan Young and Zayden Davidson. Riding on board with Dylan Young. Oh my God! Oh man! Oh my goodness! Oh, that hurt to listen and hurt to watch, really. Getting another look at it, focusing on Davidson. But this was just a brutal lick to Dylan Young. Davidson took a lick of a ride, but that driver's impact, that is just something you do not want to see. Here it is again in slow-mo. Dylan Young just gets clipped by James Sorfox, who made a slight error of judgment. It just doesn't take much to spin a car around, slight contact, and Young pancakes that wall. And Silver Fox does as well, but luckily that gravel did what it was supposed to do for Silver Fox and slowed him down enough, and he was able to keep on going. But Dylan Young, it has not been a good 2020 season for Young, and it has gone worse. We nearly had a crash with Eric Demax and Daniel Bouchard. Demax was very aggressive with Bouchard, rubbed up against him, nearly spun Bouchard, nearly spun himself. They nearly wrecked with each other, but Eric Demax, who is down in 4th place, cannot afford to wreck himself out, and that was near disaster. As the field has cycled out with pit stops, Jake Bassinger is cleared by about 9 seconds on Jesse Turner. Turner has struggled with lap cars and has lost time and time, a lot of time really. And it was very important to get clear of lap cars like Jake Bassinger did. Turner has struggled to pick off these lap cars, and he has lost a lot of valuable time. He is down in 2nd. His teammate is Shelley down there near 12 seconds back to Bassinger. 4th place is Eric Demax. 5th is Matthew Rodriguez, who has leaped past Jeffrey Lynn. Jeffrey Lynn is down in 6th place now. Chris Dodd having a great run today, having the run he needs to have. He's in 7th place. 8th is Dylan Schwellenberg. 9th is John Arndt. And 10th is Ryan Griffin. And outside the top 10 is Fitzwater, Lamas, Fisher, Curtis, Collins, James, then Hayden Klein, and great day for Hayden Klein. Caleb Hoffman, 18th. Sean Harple and Dayjon Weeks making up the top 20. Then it's Jack Halleck, Edward Ziemba, Eric Burton, Ryan Acosta, Alexander Rowe, Vince Freeze, Carson Scott, Joseph Shrigley. James Orfox is back in the race like we mentioned earlier, who had problems. Bobby Jones is in 30th. Brandon Kraft on the last car on the lead lap. Then it is Richard Johnson, Bradley Bishop Jr., James Ellison, Zach Rodgers, Daniel Bouchard. And then, like we mentioned earlier, Davidson and Young. They are out of the race, and Alex Bianco in the 31. He is 4 laps down. He's had engine problems under the hood that has hindered the 31 car, but they have kept that 31 car in the race, and Alex Bianco is hoping to end that curse and finally finish a race as he moves past those cars out of the race up to 37th. Race for 4th place. Here comes Matthew Rodriguez on his teammate Eric Demax, and Rodriguez needs to try and claw back as much points as possible because Eric Demax looks as though he will take over the championship lead after this race and get it back after losing it after he just took it back away. Demax is going to, as it looks right now at least, is going to take the championship lead back, and Matt Rodriguez, trying to close in the title mix, gets past his teammate for 4th place. And how about James Shelley? He has ran down Jesse Turner. Battle for 2nd place is on. Shelley trying to get 2nd place away from his boss and teammate. He is on the... What is he doing? Is there a crash up ahead of him or something? What was James Shelley doing there? That was aggressive on the Kirby. Wow, I want to get a look at that again. Look at this, but James Shelley goes in this corner and just runs that curbing very low. Looks like someone did get off in the dirt, and that might have been the problem. Oh, there was a spin! Eric Demax! Eric Demax is out! Demax is out! Eric Demax has spun 2nd in the championship. He is out, and this has opened the door for James Shelley to be in the chance to take the championship lead. Shelley has never led the championship lead since season 17, and Eric Demax lost it. We mentioned it earlier. He cannot afford to be racing the lap cars as hard as he did. He spun at James Ellison. Here it is again. Eric Demax was looking for a way past. He was wanting to get up there and battle those guys, and Ellison was in his way, and he just gets into Ellison and spun Ellison into the tire barrier, and Demax out of the race. Luke Martin was out of the race. And Eric Demax, oh man. He was in a good position to make up a lot of points and gain and extend the point lead over Luke Martin. And James Shelley was right with him. And Shelley's in the position to take the title lead. Unreal. This race has been kind of unreal here near the end. Matt Rodriguez goes wide, but he has also made his way past of Jesse Turner. That team did not make the right adjustments on that 17 car. And wow, I am just baffled that Eric Demax made that move and was in a crash, and that is what's gonna hurt Eric Demax in the title bid for this season. We know he's aggressive, but you just have to learn when to let off, and he's out of the race and gonna lose a lot of points. Matthew Rodriguez is up to 3rd and closing on James Shelley. This is going to be a big day for Matthew Rodriguez as well to try and make up points. Jesse Turner trying to get back in the title mix is losing valuable points today. But Bassinger, who is nearly 13 seconds ahead of 2nd place, this is going to be big for him in the title mix as well. That has moved Jeffrey Lynn back in the top 5 with Chris Dodd in 6th, Dylan Schwellenberg 7th, 8th is John Art, 9th Ryan Griffin, and Zachary Fitzwater is in the top 10 for the first time today. Rodriguez is close. He is right there on James Shelley. Shelley pushed tight there in turn 1, up the hill, down into turn 2. Rodriguez around the outside trying to make this pass. He's going to have the preferred groove, and Rodriguez and Shelley side by side. Into turn 3, Rodriguez hard on the brakes, but he's going to get this position done. And a 1-2-3 finish for turn performance is not going to happen as Matt Rodriguez, or at least it don't look like it right now, but Rodriguez has chipped and chipped. They made great adjustments on this number 9, and Matt Rodriguez, oh, very tight and very loose behind Richard Johnson. But Rodriguez is up to 2nd place. Turner trying to fight his way back. Race for 13th place is on. Kyle Collins looking to get back at DJ Curtis. Curtis holds the 13th place. Curtis has been very good this season, and this team has a lot of positive things going for them. Curtis looking for another top 10 run. They have just piled on top 10s this season, but they're going to have a ways to go if they want to get a top 10 at this rate. But Curtis challenges back and keeps Collins behind him. A very hairy moment right now for Matthew Rodriguez. He has the turn performance drivers on his heels, and Rodriguez needs to get past Richard Johnson. Goes the inside, and Jesse Turner may be able to use Richard Johnson to get past. And here Shelley throws a block, but Turner's there. Oh man, they are on top of each other right now. James Shelley trying to work his way around Richard Johnson. They are on top of Richard Johnson. He is very slow. Turner's going to use Johnson to make his way up to 3rd place. But now Turner really needs to work his way around the 55. And Turner still working it on Richard Johnson, but he is up to 3rd place. 15 seconds up the road with 8 laps to go. Jake Bassinger. They made great adjustments on that 97. He's in the middle of lap traffic, but he just needs to bring it home. He is so far clear of 2nd place. It has been a great day this afternoon for Jake Bassinger. Ryan Griffin has moved his way up to 8th place past John Arndt. Arndt's going to have to regroup and try and get after him and try and get back that lost place for 8th place. But Zachary Fitzwater may have company in the hands of Cody Lamas as he is closing. And Dylan Schwellenberg around the outside of Chris Dodd for the 6th place. And Dylan Schwellenberg, who won this race last year, is going to move his way up 1 spot better. Jack Halleck's on pit road with some sort of problems for the 90 team, but Dylan Schwellenberg's up another place. Edward Ziamba on debut is up inside the top 20 after starting out back. This has been a great day for this young driver. He's making his rookie season in the Hardee's National Series for Rodriguez Racing, and on debut, starting out back, it's been fun to watch this driver work his way up in the top half of the field as he tries to close down Sean Harple and Dejon Weeks. Jake Bassinger has been trying to take it easy in the last few laps. It was 8 laps to go. He was 15 seconds clear. And now, with only a handful of laps to go, about 5 laps to go now, the gap is about 8.5 seconds behind Matthew Rodriguez, and Rodriguez is closing. Rodriguez he has that clean air right now, and it's really working to his advantage, while Jake Bassinger has a lot of traffic in the middle of him. But Bassinger just needs to make sure he doesn't get into any trouble as he tries to close this one out. And Sean Arndt, again, has worked his way past of Ryan Griffin to get back into 8th. He is down to 9th again, Griffin is, and Fitzwater trying to get away from Cody Lamas. Lamas has kind of been stalled behind about that far back, and Fitzwater now sees that 43 in his windshield, trying to move up to 9th place. Fitzwater's got a great drive off there, and here comes Zachary Fitzwater, gonna try and take 9th place away from Ryan Griffin. Griffin trying to hang in. That Dodge does have a good bit of horsepower as well, compared to that Toyota Fisher Motorsports, but man, you cannot be denied by Fitzwater's drive to get up here in the field, and Fitzwater passes Griffin up to 9th. And Alex Bianco, no, we were just a couple laps shy. That team had problems under the hood, and he's out of the race. Unbelievable. Alex Bianco, that team had struggled with their engine, but they were trying to get him to the finish. But it looks like Silver Fox again just clipped someone in the corner panel, and that is not like Silver Fox to be making these kind of mistakes. That we have talked about getting down to the S's being very difficult, and James Silver Fox, that is just not like him at all. Well, with 2 laps of racing to go, Matthew Rodriguez is near 4 seconds back, but it's just going to be too little too late. Matthew Rodriguez has been a hard charger today, and Rodriguez is just probably going to have to take this 2nd place with Jesse Turner 3rd. James Shelley looks as though he's going to take the title lead after this one. It'll be the first time since season 17 James Shelley has led the points. He's currently leading it at the moment, with Jeffrey Lynn in 5th, a great points haul for Jeffrey Lynn today as well. 5th place for Lynn, 6th Dylan Schwellenberg right now. We still have a handful of laps as Chris Dodd's going to have a target on the back of the 88 to try and get up to 6th place again. They've done battle all day. John Arson 8th, Fitzwater and Griffin the top 10, but Lamas is still there. Here we come. The white flag is being displayed. Final lap for Jake Bassinger, just one more time around this circuit. And Jake Bassinger, he had extended that lead so much and then took it easy as the race has progressed. We are on the final lap of today's race. Nobody has won more than 2 races so far this season. For round 12, right now, There's Matthew Rodriguez in the picture back there. He is closing, but it's not going to be enough. But Jake Bassinger is going to be the most winning driver of this season in 2020 as he comes down the Mario Andretti straight. And with this win, Jake Bassinger coming to the final straight is going to win his 16th career Sony Cup Series victory. Jake Bassinger surpasses Eric Burton and Jordan Davis and is now 16 wins in the career, only behind 6 drivers. Jake Bassinger. Oh, man. A big statement win for Bassinger today. He put a whooping on him. He was so good in this one tonight. Bassinger gets the win over Matthew Rodriguez. And then Matthew Rodriguez splits up a ton of performance, 1, 2, 3. But James Shelley will come home 4th and take the championship lead. He'll be the 3rd different driver to lead the points in the last 3 races. And James Shelley on top in the standings. That is exciting to think about. Jeffrey Lynn gets 5th, another solid day for Horizon Group. 6th place for Dylan Schwellenberg. He beats Chris Dodd, who Dodd had a great day. In 7th place, John Art getting 8th, Zachary Fitzwater in 9th, and 10th for Ryan Griffin. But Jake Bassinger, Bobby Jones nosed into the barrier, but Jake Bassinger, 16 career wins for Bassinger. That is a lot of wins. And now for the 3rd win on the season, Bassinger now is the most winning driver of this season. Let's get you to our finishing results and standings after round 12.